Okay guys, we are going to look at how to solve a percent problem. We've already figured out how to set them up. Today we are going to look at how to make them where you can actually find a solution. Okay, so we have learned that there's a couple different ways of setting them up. One of the most common is using the equation model part over whole equals percent over 100. And basically you just have to find the part, you have to find the entirety, the whole, the total, and then you have to know the percent. And if you know two of any of those three, you can find the missing piece. And that's what we've been setting up. So let's set up a problem like that. Okay, if 20% of Miss Souther's students are wearing white socks, how many are wearing white socks if she has 105 students? Well, this is very easy. So what we do first, we know we have to read the problem. That's what we just did. We have our steps to solve word problems. First thing is reading it. Second step is going through and figuring out what exactly is the question. Well, the question is how many are wearing white socks if she has 105 students? Next step, what is the question asking you to do? Okay, well, what you're being asked to do is find the number of students wearing white, right? With white socks. So I don't need everything in this sentence, but I do need some of the pieces of information. So now we're going to go back and we're going to read it again and we're going to figure out what of the information is good and what is trash. Okay, 20% of Southern students. Okay, I definitely need the 20%. But do I care that we're talking about Miss Southern students? Probably not. Okay, 20% of Miss Southern students are wearing white socks. So we know 20% are wearing the white socks. So I'm good there. How many students, so how many are wearing white socks if she has 105 students? Okay, so let's write down some of the things that we know. I know I need part. I know I need whole. I know I need percent. Okay? Because I know my formula again is part over whole equals percent over 100. Okay? And I can abbreviate it like I just did without a problem at all. Okay, so 20%, well that's a percent, so I know the 20% is going to go with the percent sign. Okay? How many are wearing white socks if she has 105 students? Well, 105 students, that must be the total because it says if she has 105 students. So my total, remember my total is the same as whole. That's 105. Do I know my part? Nope, doesn't look like it. So my part is unknown, and because it's unknown in math, we use the X. Okay, so let's, again, put them in the right orders now that I know my formula here and I know what they are here on the left. I can fill in my formula with what I know. Part over whole. Part, well, I don't know what the part is, so I'm going to use the X. Over whole, my whole is 105, equals the percent, 20, over 100. And I don't have to write down the 100 because this 100 is a constant. What I'm doing is I am changing the percent from a percent to a fraction. And I know the fastest way to do that is to put it over 100. Okay, so here's where I have some choices. I can just do some multiplication right here, or I can do some reducing of my fractions. If you're one that wants to make life a little bit easier, reduce your fraction. Well, I know if I divide my percent by 10, I can get rid of both of these zeros. This only works when you have two zeros at the end. Okay, now I'm going to go through and I'm going to do what is called cross multiply. In elementary school, you may have heard it referred to as the butterfly. And the reason is because we are going to cross over, and you only do this if you have the equal sign between. Okay, so I know I'm going to cross over and I'm going to put them together. My first part is 10 times x. Well, I don't know what that is because I don't know what my x is. So I'm just going to write 10x. Okay? Then the other part, the right side then, is 105 times 2. Okay? So I've got to do 105 times 2. So I'm going to come over here, 105 times 2. Well, I know 2 times 5 is 10. 2 times 0 is 0, plus 1 is 1, and 2 times 2 is 2. So that number is 210. So I have, continuing just to write down my numbers, 10x equals 210. And I tell my students if they take and they draw a line straight down, it makes it very easy to be able to tell the left side from the right side. Okay? Now, my ultimate goal is to take and isolate my variable. Isolate means to set it aside all on its own. And the variable is this unknown x right here. Well, in order to do that, I have to get rid of whatever's next to it. And I have to do the opposite, the inverse operation. Okay, well, I know when I have a number sitting next to a letter, that means multiply. And the opposite, the inverse of multiplication, is division. So if I take and I divide, instead of multiplying 10 times x, I divide by 10, that 10 goes away because I know 10 divided by 10 is just 1. I also know that because I'm dealing with equations that have an equal sign between them, that I have to keep them equal to each other. And in order to do so, I have to make sure that what I do to one side of the equal sign, I do to the other side. So since I divided by 10 on the left, I have to come over here and divide by 10 on the right. Well, look at that. I now have x equals the fraction 210 over 10. Excuse me, let me switch colors. 210 divided by 10. Well, just like what I did before up here, I know that I have 2 zeros at the end, so I can just get rid of those zeros, right? As long as I have one on the top, one on the bottom, one denominator, one numerator, I can do that. My solution then becomes x is equal to 21 over 1. And I know anything divided by 1 is itself. So that means my solution is 21. And then if I go back into what I'm solving for, I'm looking for how many students are wearing white socks. So I know 21 students are wearing, 21 students are wearing white socks. Okay, 21 students are wearing white socks. And I know that because this is my solution, I need to box it. Make sense?